Yeah. All right, who juicing? Yeah. Easy money. Previously on KIMBA TV. Did I not say that? Can't lose, bitch. And that's easy money. And that's how we do our manipulation. That's how you do manipulation. I'm putting stop loss and profit now, okay?
The math is the math.
And that's how you do manipulation. And that's how you do manipulation. Quit playing with me, chat. It's got to be testnet. Everybody good to go? Make sure you're always rewind and get caught up. See what you missed. Hey, shall we let us up real quick? Your mic is low. Better? Can I get a kacha, baba? Yeah. Better? Mic check. Kachoya boo boo ya. It's always been the same though. The soundboard was louder? Huh. Interesting. Is it better? Gotcha! Okay, is that better though? It's Cachoya, right? And let me just see, shout out everybody over on YouTube. Bobby Ace, Dezillionaire, what's going on? Toki! Cure Dog, Saeed Ash Crypto. Okay, all right, so anyways, we talked about this about 16 hours ago. So, looks pretty accurate. So it cleaned like we marked. It bounced, but we knew it wasn't gonna hold. We identified these zone levels. So I guess it's looking at this. We were looking at it like this. Okay. And then ultimately we're going to see if this is support or resistance. All right, everybody juicy? Everybody caught up. Easy money, Bugatti money. Pixel perfect, you dig? Can't lose. I feel like we should kind of resume where we left off. How you guys doing? Yaya says, I still haven't won on 2-bit. Make sure you're subbed up, Yaya. You got to get subbed up. Let's go. But we'll circle back. Unforgiven. What's going on? Unforgiven. All right, this is what I'm thinking. Shall we let us up real quick? I'm going to put on some classical music. And I'm going to take a look at a couple altcoins. And then, you guys ready for the NFT? NFT. Carrots, are you good? DGen Larry says, how do I learn all these things? Well, eventually, I might put out some like free YouTube videos, but I mean, if you're here, you can just ask me and we can go over stuff. Larry, actually, brother, starting like tomorrow night and Monday, I'm gonna be hitting people up with some educational juicy juice. If you want to stop by and hang around. Origin private community, nah, fuck that. Nah. One thing, Larry, is I will I like whatever I know you can have for free. But no, don't join a private community. Wiztard says, I had a block exactly on that bounce back up. I'm proud of myself, but I was out, so I couldn't take the trade. Nice, Wiztard. It's not about taking the trade. Yeah. And remember, Wiztard, you can't lose any money by missing out on the trade. You can get wrecked doing some stupid shit and getting got. And was that a place where you would think about shorting? Fuck no. And so you didn't get got. And that's the only thing that matters, brother, you know? And there's always going to be like, I'm not 100% sure if it wants to do a bull div or not, Wiztard. And what I mean by that is we talked about it could have an initial bounce and it may still make a lower low. Like if we were to look at data right now, what I would say, like, because you should be able to argue a bullish and a bearish edge. If you guys, like if the, debate teacher was like, okay, today, KIMBA, you're going to argue the bearish side. And then today, insistence, you're going to argue the bullish side. What I would say on the bearish side is the open interest isn't strong enough. What would you say as the counter argument to that? KIMBA, it's weekend. You knew open interest was going to be low. Therefore, that's not a variable to consider. Touché. But these are all like logical discussions and points that you can use to, have a like non-biased, non-emotional discussion about just how everybody is valuing the data. So anyways, I'm going to just keep lettucing up and then put on some classical music and get some levels in. You guys down? Just a real quick, I'm thinking like just 10 minutes on a couple of altcoins that I feel like could be juicy. Obviously, I need to keep an eye on Sol and ETH. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe just 5 minutes on maybe 5 or 6 altcoins that I think is what my targets will be this week. And we'll go from there. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of identify levels today. So, all right. And I think that's going to be pretty juicy if you know, you know. What do you think, Fred? You down? And then I am keeping track of the lions that are here for the weekend juicy juice. And you guys excited about the NFT coming up, y'all? RPM says, KIMBA, when Bugama, no doubt, maybe tomorrow. I don't know what my schedule is with baby girl today, so I don't want to promise anything. Maybe later tonight. I don't know. The thing is it's gonna be recorded on YouTube, start to finish. So you're not gonna miss anything if you're not here live for it. Yeah, and really, I wouldn't even consider it a nerd out. What we're going to call it is cheat sheet creation. And I'm going to just go over maybe like the top 5, 6 most common, highest probable scenarios and how I interpret it. And we'll go from there. What you're also going to notice too is it's not just about looking at Bugamas. What you should be starting to notice, in my opinion, Danny Bellagio, let's get it. I'm hoping that you guys are starting to see it, but it's never about just one variable. You know what I mean? Because just one variable doesn't paint the entire picture. Just like how we say, like if you guys at this, let's say how many 6-month lions are in here right now? 6 months lions, this is for you, okay? 6 month or older, maybe even 8 months. But 8 months lion, 8 month or older lions. If you only saw a 30-minute bull div, okay, but you still have $1,000 lower to go before it hits VWAP. You still have $500 to go before it even hits 618. Are you longing? Probably not, right? Like it's, like you might want to wait for it to hit VWAP. You might want to have it hit 7.5. What if the 7.5 lines up with the VWAP, right? Like what if there's single prints that is like left behind or, haven't got. So you would never be like, okay, I'm looking at Bugammas right now and this is my interpretation. You're still going to have to look at divergences and order flow. And Bugammas are only just the figuring out the levels portion related to S&P. So you still need to look at different types and different time frame divs and order flow to be able to truly say, hey, this might be a good short or hey, this might be a good long. You're going to notice that Bugammas is actually a little bit easier than you probably thought, but you're also going to at the same time realize that you also need to learn about S&P order flow and the difference between put and call walls and how to essentially just do the same thing, like read the data at those levels. So anyways, we'll go through like maybe 5-6 high probable scenarios, and then with that cheat sheet in hand, I want you guys to watch the markets for the next 3-4 months, and then I'm thinking like at the end of the year we can regroup and recap and talk about what you learned about S&P and Bugammas in general, because I don't want you to be like, oh, this shit is only half of the time right next week. Like your sample size is 5 days, Like, nah, your shit needs to be like 100 trading days minimum. If you're somebody that respects math and you're going to start to make a conclusion based off of a sample size of 10 data points, there's no way, right? So maybe like towards the end of the year, you guys can give me your feedback or your thoughts on how Bugammas went for you. Ka-choy! RPMs is essentially it's a bid sell profile, I'd assume, or the prices with the most amount of calls. But this is the way that I am. Let me dumb it down. We'll talk about this later, but there's 4 ways that I look at it. RPM. There's motherfuckers that want to buy here. There's buyers that would there's motherfuckers that so this is where a group of people want to buy, or this is where a group of people that already bought would get fucked. Okay, the other side is this is a level where there's a lot of people that want to sell. The other one is this is a level where people that already have sold would get fucked. So those are the 4 categories of levels that when I look at Bugammas, when I look at something like this, when I'm looking at the right hand side, okay, and I'm looking, what the fuck, dude? When I'm looking at the volume, which is on the left hand side, and then I'm looking at the exposure. So the volume tells me appetite. Okay? The left tells me oh, these motherfuckers want to get filled type of shit. The right is more like, this is where these motherfuckers that are already in will get fucked. So that's why, for example, on the left-hand side, you see how the volume gets really close to the big wall on the right-hand side? Can I turn my cursor on? Hold on. Show cursor. Can you guys see? Okay, fuck yes. You see this? So the volume side basically fulfills my want to know of, oh, this is where motherfuckers want to buy, or this is where motherfuckers want to sell. Okay? And then this side tells me this is where people that already sold will get fucked. You see how the price is below? You see how the price is below? So when I see something like this is where a lot of motherfuckers will get fucked, lining up with this is where a lot of motherfuckers want to also enter, that's prime for like a short attempt. Make sense? So when I see something like this, I might be like, okay, I'm now thinking about potentially shorting, you know, like 65, 25, 65, 30. Okay, so the left-hand side is volume, it's appetite. The right-hand side is where people will get fucked. And you're trying to see how those levels overlap or interact with each other. But again, it's just levels, you know, and as you know, these things can change throughout the day. Miro says, are Bugama only on SPX? Nope. Miro, would you be interested if I said something like all NFT holders are going to be able to pull up their, what if I told you that NFT holders, you can come in here, okay? And you can type in exclamation Amazon. And for 60 seconds, it gives you the Bugamas for Amazon. Uh-oh, hot dog. I don't know how many letters, but I know that it's 4 words. Quit playing with me. But anyways. No. You can get gamma levels on anything. Yeah. So anyways, we'll cover all of this shit, but I feel like you're starting to get it. And so what you're doing is you're looking at appetite, you're looking at where people will get fucked, and you're analyzing the order flow when it comes to expirations. And you have all expirations, you have weekly, and you have 0 day. So your 0 day is your day-to-day scalping level. Your weekly expiration is kind of your medium time frame. And then the all expirations is your higher time frame. And if you look in the bottom right corner, you see how it says SPX net GEX for all expirations. So I might see that on the higher time frame, it's bullish. And we might notice that the 0 day gamma signals to us that it's going to be bearish. So that probably means that I'm going to be looking for a long on the dump. And once it gets there, then I'm looking at open interest. You know, did longs get stopped out? Did shorts open at the bottom? Do I have a hidden CVD bull div? Do I have a regular bull div? You know, what time of the day is it? Is it right before market close or is it in the morning? But it's not that difficult though, right? I feel like a lot of it is just common sense. You just need to kind of get that initial push. Most of this shit is just common sense. So anyways, we'll cover all of that like a little bit more in detail. Now, here's the thing, RPM. Like what would happen if the volume is really, really low? Or what would be the difference if the volume was flipped? So for example, instead of it being red and yellow, what if it was the blue and green color? What would it mean if this was this way instead of this way? Right? What if this was non-existent and instead you had a volume that was outside of the range of the exposures? You know, what if people want to buy or sell outside of where there's already exposure? So those are the scenarios that we'll go over. Kachaya. If you understood even half of what the fuck I just said in the last 15 minutes, I think we're off to a good start. How many people at least could follow along like that? Did that make sense? Or some of y'all are like, I have no fucking clue. Little by little. I don't expect everybody to get it right away, but did it like make sense? Don't say yes to just be bullshitting and to like fit in. Did it actually make sense? Like to understand, so volume is appetite. I'm sure anybody can kind of understand that. Gamma exposure. Literally, the word is literally in the title. Gamma exposure, where people are exposed. That's where people would tend to get fucked up. So you're trying to figure out where appetite and where people would get fucked up line up. That you can identify levels, but you still need to look at pivots like divergences and order flow to really have a reason to long or short. But if the appetite looks good, if where people would get fucked looks good, right? So like imagine, for example, you see that the exposure levels, okay, line up. How many times have you seen, for example, when I put like a yellow level, but then I go here and like it's like Fibonacci perfect or it's VWAP perfect? How many times have you guys seen me pull you? Not just me. How many times have we pulled fibs and like the 7.5 or the golden pocket was like pixel perfect VWAP or pixel perfect Boo Gamma? So imagine if, right, the Boo Gamma lines up at the 7.5. Imagine if that's also where the ES VWAP is, right? Imagine if there's volume and appetite at that level and you get a hidden CVD bull div when you get down there. You don't take the hidden CVD bull div, but then it makes it a lower low and now you have a regular bull div. And then you look over on unusual whales and you have a hidden CVD bullish divergence on the order flow as well. So that would be something that you'll probably see me take a long in. Obviously, you're never going to have like the perfect scenario where you get every single variable that you want in front of your face. But Miro says, what is better, CVD or RSI divergence? That's a great question. Me personally, Miro Crypto, and you'll notice that I'm really a stickler for this shit, okay? The number one type of data that I like is volume. You don't have to necessarily think the way that I do, by the way, but I feel like volume is everything, you know? Because to know that this is where a lot of people bought or sold, I think is incredibly valuable. So I'm always a stickler for volume, okay? So naturally, I like CVD. But do you understand what RSI is? It's more pressure, in my opinion. And so, or momentum. And it doesn't truly define for me. So like, look. You're taking the average gain and the current gain, and basically you're trying to proportionalize, okay, the gains. How quickly are you going up? How quickly are you going down? I don't think it's that bad, but I prefer volume-based oscillating data. You know, I like VWAP, I like CVD. Okay, CVD is you're taking the data from how many limit orders and how many market orders, versus RSI is you're taking how much it gained and how much it lost from price. So it's up to you. Obviously, Miro, like CVD is volume based. So for example, right now it's the weekend and the volume is low. So would I trust a CVD bull div? I don't know. It's kind of hard. I would probably want RSI div with the CVD div. Yeah, but you can have divergences on any oscillating data. Which means you can have a divergence on open interest, volume, MACD, stochastic RSI. But I love volume, so I would always say any sort of volume-based divergence is my favorite. All right? But what I would encourage you to do, Miro, is every single time you're thinking about taking a trade, just see if you have CVD. Like, how many of y'all would be interested in the KIMBA Gang trading journal? Like whenever you take a trade, you know, I don't know how you would organize it, but like, let's say like this is your trade, right? So like trade one, like right? And like, I'm going to ask like edge, right? And then you're going to list your shit, right? And then you're going to have like observations, you know? And it'll have like things like, you know, div, you know? And it'll be like a checkbox and you can check it. Or, you know, and then like when you check that, like a sub menu might come out and it might say RSI, you know, CVD. You know, we might even do it like it says like plus, so you can add your own, right? Whatever you want to look at. And then next time you can search through, show me every trade that ended up having a CVD div, but then ended up losing it. And then all of the trades that you had that you checked those things on will show up. And you can be like, oh, I remember this fucker. Oh, this one, I remember this one like this. But the best way to tell Miro is you just keep track of the trades that you do have CVD divergence on, whatever that means. I don't know if it's on the 30-minute. I don't know if it's on the 4-hour. I don't know if it's on the 20 million volume-based candle. But I don't know if it's, you know, but keep track. Yeah, so, you know, does this level hold? Here, that's what you would want to see. You know, and does it need another regular bull div? That's it. If it comes back down like this, for example, and you're in a long, it's stop loss break even, so you can't lose on this. And if it does come down there and you can't anticipate a bull div, then you're not going to try it again anyways. And then if you do get up here, you need to make sure that you bounce off of this bitch. So that's that. So shall we do a little nerd out? I'm going to just go through like Soul, you know, kind of clean this shit up. Man, I mean, it's crazy to think, y'all, that like I was streaming with you guys. Look at it. Look at this shit. What the fuck? Can you, boy, can you imagine if we had this long from 2023? I mean, we took this long. I don't know if you guys remember. But we took this long. We thought we were balling because we TP'd it right here. We were like, yeah. We thought we were balling because we got this. This was still juice. It was like 100%er. But we were like, we're going to Bugatti land. And then it did this, and we were like, fuck. But we logged that on stream. We TP'd it right there on the higher high shit. Yeah. All right, so. Oh, you want to let us up before we start? Actually, let me go to the weekly on this bitch. Okay. Let's, I guess, start at the bottom and kind of work our way up. I want to add a 145.27. Do I want to add this daily? Yeah, let's do some dailies down there as well. 148.79. Let's do another one, but this time it'll be a weekly. 151. Gonna go ahead and take that off now. Let's get the 172, just so we have it. And clean that. Kind of clean all of this. this. We can get rid of. What is that? Okay. We can probably clean this. Damn. All right, let's go up there. Okay. This changed to 252.73. Let's go let us up real quick. How we doing, everybody? Axa says, do you think it's possible that DOT is going to make a new all-time high during this bull market? Probably not. How long do we have the rate cuts for? We get 3 rate cuts or only 1? JV says, I rewinded on 2x, so you think we can have manipulation pullback on Sol? It's not manipulation. Hopefully we don't. I'm hoping we go to 230. JV, you want to look at Bonk? I'm thinking Tau and Bonk. Unforgiven says, anything new about ETH? Not really. I'm going to just hope that I don't get stopped out and we can go to 10,000 Unforgiven. Fioga says, can we check XMR? It doesn't look that good right now. I think I'll take a look at Tau here in a second. Maybe Sui. And then maybe Bonk. We could look at XMR again later. I gotta go meet up and do some NFT stuff in a little bit. CRV, I was gonna look at CRV tomorrow. Yes, otherwise hopefully it goes to 230. But if it does go back down there, I wouldn't be scared to long it one bit. So now you know. Why the fuck does it look like we're gonna have a big pullback? Oh, shit. By the way, how many of y'all were here for the late night BTC nerd out? Easy money? What do you guys, how many of you guys heard the Bitcoin schwiggity swag? Unforgiven. You heard the Bitcoin thing? Everybody know what the plan is on Bitcoin, yeah? Curvies, you good? RPM, glitch? The late night? Unforgiven, do you want it to go above the box or do you want it to get rejected at the box? Let's get it. Pretty cool though, right? It's about being prepared. All right. Let me figure this shit out. And then I gotta get out of here. Hobo says, I was not here. Well, it's probably already too late to rewind. But we watched the plan in the stream. Yeah. So make sure that you rewind and get caught up. But this was last night, about 16 hours ago, 14, 16 hours ago. So look at all that. Okay? But look, just like how we have it drawn, we were waiting for the sweep. Okay? We said that it would bounce on the value area. See that blue line right there? We said everybody's going to try to long that. Probably should lose it. We're looking for a bounce right there. And what we were talking about is being able to spot that wick and understanding that that's the zone that you're looking for. Okay? And then what you're going to look for next, if you're bullish, is that you do this. See it? All right. So Trickster or Mr. Market Maker. All righty. We always talk about it hours and days in advance. How many of y'all heard the original TA? How many of y'all were here last night for the original TA? How many of y'all got to hear this organically in the very beginning? Because that's a treat. That's a treat. That's a treat if you got to hear it. So like Reptalian, your owner, Latisse, Antillum, MJ. For those of you that got to hear it, what do you think? And any questions right now? Like, what do you think about all this? Didn't hear about Rewinded? Nice. Miracle Maker says, what is the time schedule when you DTA? The schedule is I'm here, like today's Saturday, so I'm going to finish up TA on Sui and then maybe bonk and get out of here. Yeah, but It's a subathon. It's a juiceathon. So like whenever I can, I pop my head in. And so you should just have the stream on the whole time if you don't want to miss anything. So you've got two options, Miracle Maker. You can either be here 24/7 because I can't, tell you when the data is good. Do you have a set time? Yeah, of course. U.S. market open till U.S. market close. That it's been like that every day for the last 4 years. But again, we've got a subathon. So I might hop in last night, like at midnight, and give you the play. I mean, how cool is this? Literally, Miracle Maker. We said, watch out for that. But considering every retail trader wants to long that, most likely you shouldn't be you shouldn't be surprised if it goes lower. From a Fibonacci standpoint, we marked that. And from a mathematical point, we marked out that wick to that, which should make those two lines. And it's basically right in there. All right. The next thing that you're going to look for structurally is to potentially, bearishly react. Even if you were bullish, I do think you're going to have a tiny pullback. Regardless of what it does, okay, what you're looking for is you want this zone to be turned into support. So the most highest probability would be to dink, dink, but considering that's bad, you can go foo, and then dink, 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 dink. All right, it could just go like that. I mean, make sure you have the fib from there to there. So it should be right there, literally on the yellow line. Okay. Once you get above and turn this into support, higher high, you're going to be looking for that. And then ultimately the Kachoy Bubu Ya, which kind of leads us into this might be a short. An SFP of Kachoy Bubu Ya might be a short. I don't know if you've been able to follow along, but dude, like, I feel like I missed a potential XRP short. I feel like there's a couple of altcoins where I'm like, maybe I should have shorted the top. And obviously, I think it's going to fuck everybody up. So I think there's a chance. Maybe we take a short on Monday. It's kind of interesting, right? And do you remember what I was saying about ES too? Like, I might need to not be greedy. This is going to be what I think determines ultimately if we're going to be able to go or if this is going to get lost. Damn, why do I think this is going to SFP? Clip it. Or I guess like this. And then, of course, and then JV, of course, Soul's going to do 172. God damn. Single print, all the single prints, all the single ladies, all the single prints, all the single prints, all the single prints. All right, chicken milkshake, no diabito, Andre, Crispy X, Miro, players. I'll be back in a couple of hours, but you're not going to miss too much and you can always rewind. All right, I'm going to end the YouTube simulcast right now, and I will leave it on Coinbase 30-minute. And I'll check back with you guys in a little bit. Sounds good.